Hey everybody, this is Fi. I'm checking out OverCast. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest here. I did have the game page open. I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to there so we can read what was written. Overcast. Create huge explosions, call down deadly thunder, summon a freezing storm, or shake the very earth under your enemy's feet in this novel FPC first-person caster while exploring maps inspired by classic FPS games. Or stand your ground and try to survive multiple waves of enemies going straight at you in an invasion-style game mode. Right, so I don't know anything about this, but from the screenshots it looks like an FPS with the Diablo-style orbs on the bottom corners there. I don't know if they're called orbs. But we're gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the overlay. I want to see if maybe we have okay, yeah, so we have full screen enabled here. It does have a VSync option. The problem is that at the moment we're in borderless windowed mode, which means that unfortunately we're gonna have VSync forced on, which means we're gonna have a little bit of input lag, which is not ideal for first-person games at all. So yeah, I would definitely recommend adding an option for exclusive full screen as opposed to the borderless windowed big full screen, which is what we've got right now. Looks like we have field of view. That looks like it's reasonable, I think. Corpse limit 100. I assume that's just a visual change, and then pixelation default, and then that goes down to none, lo-fi, and chunky. Interesting. I guess that's going to be sort of a we'll find out for sure, but I don't know if that's maybe. Oh yeah, I can see right here. So it's basically the screen resolution, but without changing the actual resolution here. There's a weird flicker over there. I can't seem to get this to. Oh, okay. So for some reason, clicking and dragging this to the left doesn't work. But if I like click here, then it'll. Yeah, for some reason, once it's here, I can't click and drag. But if it's like anywhere else, I can. So that's a little bit odd. Interesting. So I wonder what the default setting is doing. It makes things a little slightly chunkier, but I don't think it's like noticeably. It must be an odd fraction of the actual screen resolution or something. I don't know what it's doing there. It's like the difference between none and having it on is like a. Just kind of adds these weird jaggies every few pixels kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it on default for now. Let's go ahead and try this out. There's gonna be a little bit of input lag. I might try real quick. I'm actually gonna quit the game real quick. I'm gonna just make sure that it actually launches in borderless window mode, and it's not like a thing that I triggered here somehow. Just waiting for this to extract again from the zip file. Okay, interesting. It's actually stuck processing here. Still extracting. Not what I expected. I'm going to pause the recording and make sure I have this sorted out. Alright, we are back. It's kind of silly. So, at the moment, we are in borderless window mode. Okay. Sorry for the diversion. We're going to actually try the game here. Go ahead and click on new game. We've got 2 work in progress chapters and then knee deep in the undead. Right. Well, okay. So first of all, Did I have this menu before? I'm gonna go ahead and... Presumably the top one is the sound effects, the bottom one's the music. The music's way too loud, which is why I'm turning it down. Hopefully that's more reasonable. I don't know if the other sounds are gonna be the same or not. I did notice it seems to have that same sort of bug where if it's all the way up, I can't click and drag it unless I have to like click over here first, so just want to point that out. Right, yeah, I don't remember seeing these menus in the main menu, these options. So we've got mouse sensitivity, that's important, weapon sway, head bob. Looks like we can turn that off. Head sway, damage numbers. Shotgun size, horizontal, vertical. Oh, style. Interesting. Alright, so yeah, I guess that would be the head sway, the way it tilts the view when you move this left and right is really weird. I don't find that particularly nice, I don't think. You have to turn this way down because that's way too high. And that. Yeah, alright, so I'm gonna have to play with this for a bit. That's the wrong thing. Oh, okay, so one thing I would recommend, escape key when you're in a menu like this, in my opinion, should be like back out of the, like whatever layer you're in the menu, and then like once it goes back to the I don't know, the root level here, then hitting escape again should go back into the game. Something like that. Maybe that's a little bit... This actually doesn't feel like it's let's see if the VSync is disabled. Doesn't look like it is, but it feels like it's pretty responsive, so that's kind of weird. So there's controls. Okay, down lower. Oh, this is just telling you the controls. Okay, that's helpful. 1 and 2 is use potions. R is use. Just generic use, I suppose. Right mouse button is magic bolt. V is open spellbook. Middle mouse button is use offhand weapon. Okay, that's important. Oh, so I just have a knife. It looks like it's on cooldown. Looking at the bottom UI there. Okay, this looks like the blue stuff on the right is being used up by this. And then what else do we have? V is a spell book. Looks like we need points to buy these. Okay, so 2 used up. Is that a potion? Looks like a blue potion or something. Oh, 1, 2 used potions. Okay, that's what that was. Then R is some other kind of use. Now, on the bottom left, there's some other icons there that I don't know what those are representing. Those look like shift button is doing a little dash. Looks like forward and backwards, not left and right. Can I do diagonally? Yeah, I can do diagonally. Okay, so that's on a cooldown of some sort. It's not being represented, but wait a minute. Okay, so left mouse button uses up the blue stuff, but the right mouse button doesn't, I guess. Okay, interesting. Got some gold. Can I crouch? I can't crouch, okay. I like being able to crouch in first-person games. It's just one of those things where it's like, Okay, I hit E kind of reflexively. Apparently that actually does another spell, so I don't know. It's like, oh, this is going into controls now. Okay, but yeah, that wasn't mentioned here. Neither was the shift key, so I guess there's more buttons than was listed are working. I don't know if... Oh, that does use the blue stuff. I'm guessing maybe that lightning-shaped icon at the bottom is what this is. And then probably the little dash-looking one is what's attached to shift, and then I don't know if this is the other one. The fireball-looking one. Oh, I can break that. Interesting. So okay, this attack does home in on the enemies. He's trying to dodge. A little bit. So there's not really any inertia to speak of for the movement, which on the one hand makes it very responsive, but can make it seem a little jerky, especially like right here when I'm kind of up close to an opening like this and I'm kind of spamming the A and D. You can smooth it out a little bit by adding a little bit of inertia. I would not add much. I mean, you can get... You can get away with a decent amount of inertia if you make the move speed pretty high, and that's sort of the doom. Oh, this one I can open with R. Sort of the old boomer shooter way, I think, is to have a significant amount of inertia. But I tend to like the more precise feeling with less inertia, but I would, you know, maybe it would be worth adding just a little touch of it, just to smooth it out a little bit. Oh, he actually fell down. Did he just ragdoll and just like happen to fall, or was that some kind of intended effect? What did I pick up? I picked up a red key. Okay. Almost didn't notice the little message all the way in the top left. I guess now that I know that it shows up over there, I can think to look over there, but wow. I think I just shot the ground in front of me, and that was like causing damage. Okay, so one thing, you notice I just fell off here. It's generally... Alright, when it comes to like platformy stuff, generally the fact that you don't have any inertia can lead to that kind of thing. It's just like, it's a bit too easy to walk a little bit further than you wanted to, you know? When you add inertia, that gives you a lot more fine-tuned control that you don't otherwise have with, you know, just the keyboard keys. That can also help with that, where it'll be a lot less likely to make that kind of mistake. Even if you just have a little bit of it, it helps. I don't know. Oh, I guess I didn't go in here yet. Doors just kind of disappear after you open them, so... Alright, takes a while to break these. I don't know if I care for that. I'd rather they broke a little bit easier. I think we have okay, we have melee attack. I should probably use that. Oh my gosh, the cooldown is really high on it though, so maybe not. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, is it the E key? Yeah, let me use that thing. Picked up a life essence. Picked up a lot of HP stuff. Oh, so haven't really thought about my health. I just noticed that it's, you know, less than full from my encounters. I feel like the feedback for taking damage could be a little bit more substantial. I think I noticed that... Oh, lock's broken. Okay, but the other door I was able to just break it down. Oh, okay, I guess that's considered a secret. A little bit obvious, but... Yeah, I could definitely use some kind of a sound effect for when you take damage. That would help a lot for feedback. I don't think there's anything else over here, is there? Interestingly, if I kind of walk at an angle along the wall and jump, it sort of... I lose all of my inertia. Feels pretty weird. Yeah, you just kind of stick. Doesn't feel very good. I mean, this isn't something you probably do or encounter very much, but... Okay, I still can't go that way. Alright, so at this point I'm wondering if there's like a map, because I don't really know. The M key apparently opens something. It opens this menu. That is not very effective. Yeah, see, I'd much rather that this just broke quicker so I don't waste so much time just trying to get through all these, you know. Like, having destructibles is... it's cool and fun, but when it takes like a long time to destroy them, that's not quite the same. Holy cow, they're kind of fast. And I don't really have room to run away here, do I? Oh gosh. Okay, oh, that's so good. A little hard to see in here from the lack of light. The ground and the walls kind of blend together, and now I can see that there's platforms here. It's not like I can't see it all, but it's, you know, kind of stands out as... Maybe if someone has, you know, different monitor settings or something, they might be like, what the heck am I looking at? You know? Yeah, I felt like the skeletons are maybe a little too fast. They're slightly slower than your move speed, but when you throw just a giant mass of them at you like this, and you don't have a lot of room to like maneuver around them here. This isn't like an open area or anything. And also your attacks don't like knock them back or even slow them down. Actually, he just stopped for a moment. I don't know why, but that's another thing you might want to consider. Just maybe just have them, if not knocking them back, then just have them kind of stop in place for a bit after you hit them or something. It can help with the concept of crowd control. Apart from that, I think it'd be helpful to slow them down a little bit, just so you can be you can outmaneuver them a little bit more effectively. So where am I going here? Again, the lack of any kind of map that I'm aware of. I don't remember, because I came in this way and I went in here, so I'm pretty sure I want to go in there, but why is there this big loop right here? Should I be like spamming the use button on the walls like old school Doom or something? Oh, that's not an enemy. Oh, that is an enemy. Can you get up there? Falling from here? That's a little weird. Where did this... So this brought me back to where I was before. Is that what I'm supposed to do? darn it. Alright, I gotta slow down a little bit. So I'm getting sloppy. Okay, I think I did notice a little bit. Yeah, this effect where you kind of, I don't know, maybe that's something else, but like sometimes when I jump and if I just barely touch the lip of one of these, it like kills all my inertia. Like in general, the walls and stuff feel kind of sticky. This doesn't look like you could jump down and get over there unless you had like a double jump. Wait, can I? Oh, I can dash in the air. I guess I can do that. This feels like something you would do for a secret, you know, not for actually advancing in the level. Because it's just kind of obtuse. And you can't... Shoot, I didn't mean to... Again, that was down to the fact that there's no inertia on the movement is why I tried to step forward a little bit and went a little bit too far, so... But when you're looking down that hole, you can't see what direction this is in. So it's like... You have to like kind of figure that out. Oh, I wish I... Wait. How did that work? It's like I pressed jump again. I don't know if there's like a frame where you time it just right. Oh. Just spamming the jump button, sometimes it will get up there. That's interesting. Oh! Interesting. Alright, so there's some funny business with spamming the jump button. You can see it like launches me into the ceiling with enough force to kind of stick up there for a moment. If I just spam the jump key while kind of, I guess, I don't know if it's the slope or what it is, but holding forward on the slope and spamming jump. Yeah, it does weird stuff. So again, I got all kind of mixed up. I think it's this way. Alright. I kind of missed the key with my finger, but that was also a really short window. I don't know if this will actually work or not. Now I'm cheating. Speedrun strats. Oh, it does work, okay. Yeah, okay, so this is a secret. Which is good. Alright. I'm a little disappointed that the, alright, yeah. So the shotgun's on middle mouse button, but it's so much more intuitive to use the right mouse button for the right-handed weapon and the left mouse button for the left-handed weapon instead of the way you have it, so it's kind of disappointing. I think this is, it looks like it has 11 ammo. But, so where else am I supposed to go here? Box broken. That didn't work. I do have a red key. So... Oh. Guess we have a red door. Oh, it's just all over the place. Yeah, I mean... with them moving that quickly, it is quite, you know, the number of them combined with how fast they are, it's hard to maneuver around them. And not take damage, and you definitely want to, you know, try and tune things so that if you're playing skillfully enough, you should be able to avoid damage pretty readily. Right, end of demo. Of course, it's my first time playing, but it's also like the first level, so you would expect that things wouldn't be too hard. So I killed everything, found all the secrets. Thank you for playing the demo. Alright, survival mode has new enemies. So, feedback I'll give is you have a number of these different abilities and stuff. For one thing, you start with a number of them already, and I certainly think it would make more sense to introduce them more gradually and, you know, actually tutorialize anything that you want the player to start the game with, especially kind of tutorialize using them, you know, like things like the dash move and whatever else. Obviously, this is an early demo, so you know you probably already intend to do this stuff. But I'm just saying what comes to mind. But yeah, introducing them gradually is a good idea because that gives the player more of a chance to learn them one by one, rather than just having a bunch of stuff at the start. The other thing is how to put it. So we have a number of abilities that are all kind of just doing damage for one thing, and in order to kind of justify having a bunch of different abilities, they have to sort of have their own individual uses, you know. So I feel like, at least so far as, you know, the little I've seen, there's not much of a reason or incentive to use one ability over the other just for the sake of killing the enemies, because you can just kind of blast them with the standard thing until they die. Naturally, some of the other abilities are going to be more powerful than your standard bullets, but it just simply being damage isn't necessarily going to justify having a lot of different things, you know, instead of just whatever the most powerful thing is, or whatever you have ammo left for or something. So so far we had, what was it? We had the like a fireball thing. We had the primary, what I assume is the primary fire, the blue thing. We had this electricity, and we had melee attack, which I guess is interesting. I didn't really use that on any enemies. It is on a pretty high cooldown. Not sure if that's a good thing or not. But I don't know if there's any other attributes, you know, if the electricity has some kind of other attributes. I'm pretty sure the fireball had an area of effect, and you know, it had like fire damage over time and stuff like that, which is, you know, that's cool, and that's kind of what you would expect. But yeah, just in general, felt like I could mostly just blast with the default weapon, and then that would just kind of work, and the other stuff is just sort of optional, like if I felt like using it or not. So how to get around that, I think, is to design things with more utility in mind rather than just different ways of dealing damage. Not sure if there's more of that type of stuff that I just haven't discovered yet, or not, but looks like we have a shotgun here. Looks like we have the same abilities. I forgot about the potions. Oh. It looks like you move quite quickly up slopes, which I think is probably the speed is not being normalized. So the horizontal speed is staying the same, but because you added the vertical component, your overall speed is increasing. You know, the Pythagoras type of deal. Oh. Clearly there's a lot more room to move around here, so the fast skeletons aren't as dangerous as they would be in the tight quarters. Now, the enemies could also use some inertia on their movement, I think. It seems like they don't really have that, which means that they can kind of change directions quite quickly. The game's pretty generous with the homing effects on your primary shot, but you still seems like you still have to, you know, aim for that to kick in. And it can be a little bit annoying when you're trying to strafe around and you're just like holding the button down. Because you're not necessarily thinking about aiming every individual shot when you just hold it down, you know what I mean? And if things are like suddenly change direction or their trajectory too suddenly, it can be kind of annoying when you're just trying to like strafe and shoot at them like that, you know? Seems like for the most part these guys are just kind of turning. Okay, yeah, so blue guys shoot at you. They do shoot at you from quite far away, it looks like, so unfortunately you got some behind me that I just had no idea were there that were shooting me. So I guess don't stand still is a philosophy to use, but I don't know, maybe it's just a little bit unfortunate that things so far away from you and, you know, behind you where you can't see would kind of show up and then start hurting you when you, you know, didn't have any indication that they were there. It's probably a good idea to have anything that's gonna be able to attack you also be able to give you some audible, you know, audio indication that they're doing so, you know, because you get that audio feedback. Like, I'm assuming that the distance I was at with these guys, you probably have some, you know, 3D audio or whatever set up, so any sounds that they're making, if they are making sounds when they're shooting at me, I probably was like out of range of hearing them. So that'd be something to take into consideration. I think if you really want them to be able to shoot you from that far away, then maybe make adjustments to the audio so that you get some kind of feedback on that you know, people are shooting at you and that kind of thing. Definitely music is very loud. But yeah, the other thing would be, wow, those red things are really hard to see that coming at you. Especially with this sort of sunset background that just doesn't stand out very much. And it's kind of a little bit of a small projectile, you know, like you can see it better when it gets close to you, but yeah, I would be careful about the distances at which enemies are lobbing things at you. I got a little bit stuck on this ledge here for some reason. And also, you know, the lack of feedback in terms of the sounds that they're making and everything. Whether it's because they're too far away or if they don't have the sounds, I don't know. Either or. Is this guy like a shop or something? That is not the R key. I have 160 gold. Okay. Well, probably won't play this too much longer. With this being such a big open area, it also kind of brings up another thing that's probably worth considering, which is that, you know, your main weapon has like a homing effect, and that's quite helpful, but like stuff like this where it's kind of a bit slow. Oh my gosh, this is not a good... Yeah, that whole like triangle right there is very sketchy. Oh, I also can't walk up there. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like some of these weapons aren't necessarily optimized for these ranges. So it just seems like it's easier to just keep spamming. Again, just stick to the default weapon here. These slower guys, you can think about hitting with this more, I suppose. Especially if you're shooting them at the feet, but there's a lot of enemies that are kind of up in the air. Okay. Yeah, so something to consider when you're fighting enemies that are far away, you usually want to use weapons that are fast moving projectiles, if not like hit scan. Obviously if you have a homing weapon, then that's another option, but you know, that's something to keep in mind. The other thing is, like, we have a melee, I guess, and we have a shotgun, but the ranges are quite long, so it feels like maybe my kit is a little bit weird for this kind of setting, you know what I mean? Where it's like a lot of enemies are really far away, and I have one weapon I feel like is really effective for that, and again, it's just like the default weapon, so it feels like you know, I don't really have to necessarily use anything else. I mean, eventually the enemies are going to group up enough that it's just going to be a lot, but I can also just kind of run around forever. I think if I really want to, as long as I keep moving properly, I could probably survive for a long time without having to do anything fancy, you know, just keep spamming the regular weapon there. So yeah, that would be a another thing to deal with. You can think about I don't know, enemies that are slower but they're tankier, you know, and they're more of a melee range thing. In general, having such a big open area might be a little bit difficult to design around anyways, just because of the fact that it's so open and you don't really have you know, things like walls and stuff that not only can provide cover and such for the player, but also provide some kind of structure to play around with the enemies and stuff as well. So you can't just shoot at them from far away and just strafe them forever, you know what I mean? So that it might be worth considering having more cover and such inside of the level design here. But I think that's probably all I'm going to do for feedback so far. And yeah, I think it's interesting to have. I think it looked like there's a lot more. What was the buttons? The V button here. Okay, so yeah, I didn't spend any of these. Looks like I have 4 points. I guess the game. I don't remember the game ever indicating that I got these quote-unquote points. So maybe that's something you make clear, like whenever this happens, just to make sure the player really knows that they earned this, and then they can start looking at the other spells and such here. Firestorm. Okay, we have freeze and slow. I don't know if that does anything other than damage. Earthquake is dash back swiftly. Alright, we're stunning enemies. Interesting. Earthquake dash and earthquake. I guess this is... Looks like the one on the right is the upgraded version of the one on the left. Push yourself sideways. Control an A or D. F. Interesting. So I'm sorry. You're using a lot of different keys in the keyboard. Like this is Q and this is F and this one is like Control and A and D. I feel like you're gonna quickly run out of keys to use, and I don't know if it's necessarily ideal to have everything on different keys. You know, like doesn't seem like there's a lot of rhyme or reason to it. Like it's just sort of arbitrary, which, you know, whatever available keys are on the keyboard is just what you're assigning to things here. I don't know if you come up with some kind of system. I mean, obviously you could use like the number keys. I know you're using that for the potions right now, but that's sort of a... I would assume, I would consider that a little bit of a lower priority. Number keys isn't my favorite choice for using different things, but it's, you know, at least it's intuitive. Like if you have 4 different spells, then you can use 1, 2, 3, and 4 or whatever. You can use, there's a lot of different things that are, you could approach the same way as you might have a weapon picker or something in another game. You can do, scroll wheel to scroll through things. You can have like a big wheel, full screen wheel thing that pops up. You could drag the mouse around. All sorts of different ideas for things, but you also might want to have it be like user assignable, like just have the user pick the key they want the spell to be on or something. And I guess one more thing I would suggest is you might want to consider having a limited number of like spell slots. Like maybe the player can equip 2 or 3 spells or something, and then you can just have like 2 or 3 keys that are dedicated to those functions so that those won't change. So instead of it being like every time they unlock a new spell that it's like a new key they have to memorize, it would just be like these are the spell keys, and then you can add as many spells as you want to in the game. And the player will just have to choose which ones they want to slot in, and then they won't have to have that element of like using every key on the keyboard for different things and stuff. So that would be something worth considering, I think. But yeah, go ahead and wrap up this playtest. But yeah, it's definitely interesting having so many different kinds of spells and other such abilities and things in the context of an FPS. So it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.